Hi everyone, this is Dan from HeadMania, and today we're going to review a very special headphone. I'm talking about the Bowers and Wilkins, the PX8 S2. So this is the second variant of this headphone. These are the PX8 S1 basically. It's the burgundy royal version. I really love the color in the first iteration. And these are the S2, and today we're going to talk about them. What I can tell you is that starting with a short story about how I remember things in 2007 when I started this hobby. I remember having very few choices in terms of headphones in general. Headphones that were top tier, you had you didn't have a lot of choices in 2007. And if you were thinking about wireless headphones back then, I mean, wireless back then meant like a very long cable. That meant wireless. You didn't have options then, right? And looking back, I think that we have been spoiled in the last 18 years, and I did not expect or dare to expect this level of quality to be so easy to carry with you in like a backpack or a purse or something like that. I mean, this doesn't require any system. You just have to you connect it to a phone, right? Everybody has a phone today. I'm not going to go into the debates in the capabilities of each phone in terms of streaming. That's another issue entirely. But still, we have been spoiled. We have a lot of options right now. And the fact is that I remember when we audiophiles were making fun of Dr. Dre headphones, because they did sound bad, right? You cannot argue against that. But they did do a lot of good things to the entire industry. They basically convinced people it's okay to pay more than $100 for a pair of headphones. And I remember when people were like, when you said something about $100 and headphones, were like outraged about that price in general. I remember in here you had this expression. Do they also do like French fries for you? It's like, do they also cook for you? Why they are they so expensive? Well, they basically changed this. They convinced a lot of people to enter this domain. And when Apple bought Dr. Dre basically um, all the other headphone producers stepped up, right? And they also benefited from a bigger market for a lot of people that were suddenly willing to spend more for quality headphones. So that's something that I think that should be a lesson for us all. And from my personal experience and from my professional experience, I can tell you one thing: it's very easy to concentrate or fixate on things that are not, the best in a product, or things that can go wrong. It's much easier to do that. It's much harder to to try to find the positives and see how those can evolve in time, and how those can create opportunities. And I can assure you, if you're trying to have the mentality to go in the second part on trying to fix on the positives and try to see how that can evolve, you will have better opportunities or catch more opportunities in life in general. And most probably you'll be a happier person because you're really going to be focusing on the positives. And this is something that you really should think about in general. Now, going back to the present, I would say that these headphones are one of those products that made me think about the evolution of this, industry, and how we are spoiled now. It's incredible to see how much the industry evolved, how much these headphones specifically evolved in general in terms of how much quality you have in your palm, right, in your hands, without any system behind it. And I'm really happy that things are going this way. So yeah, definitely these headphones are one of those products, one of the good ones that makes you think about that entirely, especially if you have some history or experience as I do in this domain. So here we are. First of all, the first thing I noticed when I opened this box and look at the headphones is like the build quality. I have to admit that the build quality is like one of the best I've seen. It has a lot of aluminum, it has leather, it has basically aluminum premium quality material, and they feel premium. They feel really nice to the touch, and on top of that, they also are very comfortable. They are light. They're about 300 grams. I have used them for hours and did not feel any strain or pressure on the top of the head. So that's a very big plus for that. So it's design, it's build quality and style and comfort. Besides that, I would say that um, the quality overall of this product is very good. But before getting into the specifics, I would urge you to check the comments or the description of this video to see the link to the written review, where you will find measurements for these headphones and also comparisons in detail with Focal Bathys, with Mark Levinson 5909, and with the first version of PX8, right? And I will provide more detail in the written review. Now, going forward, what I like about these headphones is the fact that they're very pleasant to listen overall. They're easygoing into some sense, in terms of they are very euphonic. They are musical. They have a wavy sound. They have some elevation into the bass section from the beginning if you look at it. So and of course, you can actually, before getting into that, I wanted to say that you also have like a cue with 5 bands that you can use to uh, tune your sound based on your preferences. I've tested it with both EQ and with the USB-C cable, and compared to all of the other headphones mentioned above, especially on the USB-C, because I wanted to have the full quality when tested in terms of streaming and capabilities. So there is that. Just wanted to say that yes, it's by default from factory settings without any EQ. They're a bit more bass heavier, but it's not bloomy. It's a bass with full of layers, right? It has control. It has everything you want from a bass section. It hits very hard. It goes low, and it has authority. So it's actually tight. It's clean, and even when you keep and you when you ramp up the volume, it's still tight and fuzzy. So it has very good separation in the layering of the bass and control over there. The mid range is natural. It has a good body as well. It has a lifelike presence. The voice sit forward. They basically present themselves in a believable way, full, textured, and calm, I would say. Guitars and instruments in general carry wood and weight, not just edge. And basically, the overall mid range feels musical and humane. And it also supports longer listening sessions, and offers a very, very pleasant musical experience. The treble, it's smooth yet presents enough detail. Cymbals shine, but don't splash, and strings sheen stay clear, not glassy. There's enough top end air for detail retriever, yet the PX8 S2 avoids the sharp treble fake detail that I find in some other headphones. The fake detail trap, I would say. It's clarity without the harshness. It's evident, it's apparent on jazz and classical and other types of music. The soundstage is actually quite open. The fact is that I find it quietly holographic. Let's say it sounds very good for closed headphones, especially for this size of the cup. I would say you will see that here they have the angle drivers, and I think that helps a lot. And this translates basically in a wide and deeper sound experience, and it's a holographic sound. It's a considerable improvement to this first version, even if they also have the the angle drivers, the drivers angled. I would say it's definitely quite impressive in this area as well. I didn't feel a tight experience in the soundstage. Um, when it comes to the transients and tactility or Pratt, um, it has a firm grip. It has a sure-footed rhythm. It attacks. The attack is quite snappy and tactile. The plucks, picks, and kicks drums land with physicality, and decays clean up on time, so grooves lock in. The that start stop precision helps complex electronic lines stay readable with while keeping head nod energy. So I would say that these are actually quite enjoyable, and I listen to infected mushrooms and other stuff like they're quite like a benchmark in that area, and some headphones struggle. These were not struggling at all. I found myself dancing while moving throughout the house. The imaging is stable and has clear layering. The lead vocal, guitars, and rhythm section hold solid, repeatable positions, while inner parts stay distinct in dense mixes. Section to section handoffs in orchestra pieces are easy to follow. The result in organized space rather than left. Basically, the result is organized space rather than left right kind of sound. So it's a very good experience overall in this section as well. What I also liked about these headphones is that the dark backdrop, the background of these headphones is black. It's basically it has a lot. It presents like a very good contrast. It's like an OLED having deep blacks, right? You have this benefit of having this totally black background that helps a lot the dynamic range. Um, I would say that also this also helps the textures, the rhythm, the details, everything. This everything looks better. Let's say everything sounds better because of that, and the transparency is quite amazing. And you can also see this in the measurements as well. The THD of these headphones is quite amazing for wireless headphones in general. So also I want to say that the details it's are very good. I mean, you can still distinct fine nuances. You can hear breath on vocal, guitar body resonance, reverb tails come through clearly and calmly. Micro textures, string scrape, cymbal skimmer, piano hammer noise are resolved without turning brittle. The quick, tidy transients reveal inner details, with while the smooth treble keeps long-term listening comfortable. So overall, I'd say these headphones are quite an enjoyable experience. It really made me forget about all of the technicalities while listening to them. I just wanted to lose myself into the music. And I also had the opportunity of testing with other headphones, um, and you will find more details in the written review, but a few details I can give here as well. First of all, if you compare them with this, the first version, I would say that this is a clear improvement. It's not sub at all, right? It's just better all over the place. I would say that the bass on the S2 hits harder and it feels tighter and more detailed. The mids and vocals on AS2 presents clearer textures and better layering. Voices hit more natural on these headphones as well. The treble on S2 offers more usable detail. And sparkle without grain and lower fatigue actually. The speed and tactility on S2 handles better, and the notes are presented more cleanly. The stage and imaging are also more open and holographic on this one. It's more precise and also combined with a blacker background on these headphones as well. And even on the measurements, you will see it's a better product overall, including the THD sector. You will find that these headphones are cleaner. Um, it's not even a it's not something that you say you can just brush off for a slight improvement. For me, it's a clear winner. Between these two, these are clear winner. I also have the opportunity if you're owning the Mark Levinson 5909, and those headphones are amazing. For wireless headphones, they're not cheap at all, and I would say that they're compatible. They're not very far away, and this is a big achievement for these headphones. Yes, if you take it subjectively, out of the box, the Mark Levinson 5909 presents a more linear sound signature. They sound more balanced and clean, the kind of presentation that many would call more correct, right? It also pulls a touch more micro detail, and keeps the picture neat and more controlled a bit. And if you prefer a reference style type of music, the Mark Levinson's sticks closest to the recording. However, the PX8 S2 walks in with more charm. Bass hits with extra slam and better grip. So the kicks feel anchored and synth lines have shape, not just rumble. Vocals step forward, a touch more natural color, a bit more chest and air so singers sound present without shouting. Guitar plucks land with more weight and hint of tactility you can feel on the attack. The mid-range carries more body and textures on these ones, which makes piano strings and male vocals with a sound that feel more alive. It's still clean and detailed, just delivered with a little warmth and flow. If I had to split hairs, the 5909 holds a small edge in technicalities that's basically has more micro detail and overall polish. The PX8 S2 is not very far away, but it's also more euphonic to my ears. The kind of tuning that invites longer sessions and make more of my library sound good without touching EQ or playing too much with it. So I would say that if you want reference, leaning, tidy presentations, monitor vibes, no drama, go with the Mark Levinsons. If you want music first enjoyment, more slam, presence and texture without losing clarity, go with these ones. Now you can. I also compare them with the Focal Bathys, not the Bathys MG. I didn't have the chance of hearing those yet. Just that I would say that subjectively speaking, the Focal Bathys are still a very good headphone. It's fast, clear, exciting, especially good with guitars and plugged sounds. The transient snap and the presentation feels lively. For shorter session, it's quite fun with the Focal Bathys. For longer listening sessions, though, it can become a bit much for me, likely because of that 3 kilohertz push or the 8 kilohertz energy, which adds bite and sparkle but also raises fatigue over time. The PX8 S2 feels more natural overall, especially with the vocals. The voices sit forward in a believable way, present not shouty, and the mid range has more body and texture. The bass is deeper and more layered, so it carries more weight and shape. It also holds together better at high volumes. This makes the PX, especially in the bass section I'm talking about, the Focal Bathys, when you have a very strong electronic music in the bass section, is not the best. That makes the PX8 S2 my pick for electronic music and any track with real sub bass content without blur. It stays clean and euphonic, which makes it easier to listen for hours. So my preference is PX8 S2 for natural tone, deeper, weightier bass, and longer listening session comfort. The Batty still has its charm if you want speed, edge, and brighter front row feel. They're voiced quite differently, so it's easy to see some listeners choosing the Batty's excitement, while others like me will lean towards the PX8 S2's musical, longer wear presentation. So I would say that. Oh, I forgot to mention something about the noise canceling. First of all, I'm not using any of these headphones in very tough environments. I usually go with I use them in office environment, at home, maybe sometimes on the street, subway, or the plane. Um, I did not do extensive testing there, but I would say that they do a good job for me. I cannot say that they sound bad in that regard. They do a good job there. They're not the best though. So I would not choose them for the noise canceling alone. I would choose them for the sound quality. The noise canceling for me is a good feature. They do a good job there. They're decent, not the best. So that's a good plus for me. So I would say that if you have a tier one, the Sony WH-1000XM5 would be the tier one. The tier two would be like Mark Levinson 5909. The tier three would be Focal Bathys, which is kind of almost the same with the PX8 S2. And the tier four is the older PX8. So PX8 S2 is good, steady low frequency, at steady low frequency noise, engines, VACs, and daily office hum, but it won't match the wideband harsh and wide handling of Bose or Sony. Versus AirPods Max and 509's S2 cancels a bit less overall, versus Bathys similar or touch behind depending on fit and environment. It's a clear step up though from the original PX8. So now, this being said, let's go to the conclusions. I would say that I didn't expect this sound 10 years ago. I didn't even dare to hope for it. The PX8 S2 is the kind of the wireless that makes you forget it's wireless. Premium build, easy comfort, and tuning that blends slam, clarity, and natural mid-range without pushing the treble too hard. Over USB-C, it scales nicely, showing that dark background and that extra texture I kept hearing in the voices and strings. Compared to the original PX2, the S2 is simply more capable, deeper, tighter bass, clearer, weightier mids, faster transients, and a stage that feels more open and holographic. Against the Mark Levinson 5909, gives up ahead of clinical micro detail, but answer with more body and musical flow. Versus the Focal Bathys, it trades a bit of bright front row bite for long session ease and deeper, more layered low end. As a side note here, from my perspective, the original PX8 was not holding a candle to neither the Focal Bathys or Mike Levinson 5909. This should clear up how big of an upgrade PX8 S2 feels to my ears compared to the original PX8. It won't beat Sony, Bose on raw and noise cancelling, and the equalizer is basic, but the core tuning and the technical foundation are so strong that I rarely feel the need to tweak. And when I do, the PX8 S2 responds beautifully to the small EQ moves you can nudge. Uh, Nudging bass, weight, mid presence, or top end air with a dB or two. It tracks cleanly without any weird artifacts whenever you change any of the bands. So if you value sound and material first, the PX8 S2 deserves a top spot. If your priorities are maximum noise cancelling, feature heavy apps, or best value, there are better fits for you. For me, it's the set I reach for when I just want to press play, from jazz trios to infected mushrooms or classical music, no sliders or no second guessing. So I really enjoy these headphones, and thank you AV Store for having AV Store, who's the best store for headphones enthusiasts in Romania, for the chance to discover the new PX8 S2s. Thank you, and see you in the next review.